What's happening, fight fans? It is your boy O Nice, and this is the Fight Room. Yeah, Danny Garcia knocks out Brandon Rios, and let's talk about it. I did say in my last previous video on the prediction of this fight that I had it unanimous decision at first, but then switched it up and said that Danny will win by knockout, and it will take a brick wall to knock out Brandon Rios, and sure enough, Danny had the power to do so. Overall, the fight was a good fight. The styles were made for each other because it was a good fight overall, competitive in both sides, and Brandon Rios was doing pretty well. Looked like he was controlling the pace a little bit, and then Danny started coming back, putting his shots together, and ultimately came out with the knockout. Great knockout, by the way. Brandon Rios only got stopped by Timothy Bradley one time by stoppage, but this stoppage here against Brandon Rios tops them all. This was a sure, pure power punch knockout that landed solely in the jaw of Brandon Rios, and he went down. Now, Brandon Rios never went down in such a fashion as that fight with Danny Garcia, and now we know. And like I said before, Danny packs power. Now, this was a tighter eliminator, and we all seen Keith Thurman in the crowd watching the fight. And then we had a situation with Shawn Porter actually walked in the ring as Danny was celebrating his victory and said, "This is my house." And then of course we seen the exchange with Danny Garcia saying that we could take it to your yard, we could take it to the streets. In other words, however you want to do it, we can do that. I mean, now the thing is with this is, come on, this is boxing, professional boxers. It doesn't need to be said to take it to the streets. I mean, come on. This is boxing. And I think that for boxing, Shawn Porter and Danny Garcia would be a pretty good match. Why is that? Styles make fights. We know the style of Shawn Porter's. I actually never really was in tune with Porter's style. He's a very aggressive fighter, likes to move forward, but sometimes to me he seems like too sloppy in a fight, where it seems that he can't pick himself up and mostly leans towards the other fighters during the fight, you know. And that style for Danny could be quite dangerous because he's a bully, man. Like, he likes to just be on top of you constantly and doesn't let you breathe. Now for Danny, it could be a dangerous fight, of course, but as we seen with Brandon Rios moving forward constantly, he pulled it off. So who knows if this fight could be next fight. It is a tighter eliminator, and it looks like the winner standing at the end would be able to fight Keith Thurman for the title. Now, another thing, shout out to ES News and Fight Hub TV, which they had the face-off. Well, not a face-off, but you know, they was facing off each other after the dispute with Shawn Porter and Keith Thurman, and they was really going at it. And Porter was saying, when is he gonna get the title shot? When is it that they're gonna go into the ring? And no answers from Keith Thurman. Now, the funny thing is about this situation also, you know, Shawn Porter is calling out Danny, of course, calling out Keith, but not calling out Errol Spence, staying away from Spence. And Keith Thurman also, for this year, staying away from Spence. A lot of guys staying away from Spence, but one thing I have to say is that Danny actually called out Spence before the Brandon Rios fight, and he said if that was to happen, he would take the fight. Interesting, right? Knowing that Danny had just won this fight, and let's say if the fight doesn't go with Porter, could he be able to probably fight Errol Spence Jr.? Who knows? But let's get back to this Brandon Rios fight. It was a good fight overall, and Danny, with the power that he has, like I said, he's gotten better with the fights, and his power is still there, and he has enough to still be in a welterweight division and keep that name. One more thing is that Danny didn't get paid that much for this fight, and he only got paid, I think it was 1.25 mil for this fight. I think Danny has the name. He has enough of the name that he can be getting paid quadruple for his fights. You know, in this fight, he could have probably made an easy $3 million. I understand that Brandon Rios, you know, his name is no longer a big name like he used to when he was on top. But still, Danny deserves quite more amount of cash for him fighting. Honestly, that's my opinion. I think the guy deserves at least $3 million or more per fight now. And, you know, he's been in the game for such a long time. And, you know, he only has one loss. He should be getting paid more. But boxing. And if Danny was to ask for more money for a fight, I'm pretty sure that they would agree to whatever it is that he would like. You know, Leonard Ellaby from Mayweather's camp was at Danny Garcia's gym prior to the Brandon Rios fight and was scouting him out, seeing if he could potentially probably even sign him. Now, if I was Danny, I would ask for quite an amount of cash, because I know for sure that the Mayweather camp, Leonard Ellaby and them, would probably give him what he asked for. They really want to sign him. You know, I seen an interview with Leonard Ellaby, and he was stating that he likes Danny, and we was out there scouting and potentially be able to sign him. Could be a possibility, and if so, he should be getting paid quite a bit. And as far as Brandon's career, you know, it looks like his time may be up. You know, it looks like from now on, he might not be able to take punches like he would. You know, sometimes, you know, after you get knocked out like that, you're no longer the same. I understand he got back up, but it was a pretty good knockdown, and he got back up, but the ref stopped it. And we'll see what happens with him. Who knows what happens with him? You know, to me, the best thing he can do is just fight for cash now. You know, like, hey, fight for the money. Because it looks like, you know, you're at the 147 division, and there's a ton of monsters up there. And I think that Brandon Rios is not ready for the top level opposition in the welterweight division. Now, I wonder what's next for Danny. You know, we waiting on Crawford versus Horn, and Shawn Porter's calling him out. You know, he wants to fight Keith Thurman for the title. What will be next for Danny? We surely will find out soon. But I'm hoping maybe that he'll take that Shawn Porter fight and see what happens there. You know, because Shawn Porter, you know, he's calling out all types of names, but still not calling out Errol Spence. You know, Keith Thurman ain't calling out Errol Spence. Danny called out Errol Spence. So, I mean, Shawn Porter versus Danny Garcia would be a hell of a fight. Stylistically, I would like to see what Danny would do with such a style as Shawn Porter's. Aggressive, pushing forward consistently, and not even letting you breathe. You know, tough type of fight for Danny Garcia, but I think Danny has the skill and boxing ability and power to probably even overcome Shawn Porter if he uses his smarts to move around the ring, and, you know, take charge of the fight. Interesting type of fight. I would like to see that fight. But the beef in the welterweight is stirred up, man. They all calling Keith Thurman. Everybody's pushing for Keith Thurman to fight Keith Thurman. And the welterweight division is looking stacked, and is looking like it's going to be a great year for boxing in the welterweight division. May not have the fights that we want. Probably Keith Thurman and Spence might not even happen this year. But I think overall that the welterweight division is getting more stacked. A lot of good fighters and even young and upcoming fighters are coming into the welterweight division, and we're going to see this division stacked. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Much appreciated. Till then, you already know it is your boy O Nice. Peace.